two suspects have appeared in court for the violent attack on Dr Esther Mahlangu. The 87-year-old Ndebele artist was attacked at her home in Siyabuswa last month. Let's get the latest developments now, and importantly, what transpired in court this morning. We're joined by the Mpumalanga police spokesperson, Brigadier Selvy Mohlala. Brigadier, thank you very much for your time. Are you able to tell us exactly what happened in court? I understand the short appearance of the suspects has now concluded.
Yes, good morning, Coley, and good morning to the viewers and the listeners. Yeah, indeed, you are correct. The two suspects appeared briefly before the Mpumalanga Magistrate Court in Siyabuswa in connection with the case of robbery of Dr. Esther Mahlangu. And what transpired during that particular court proceedings is that one suspect who was arrested for robbery with aggravated circumstances was remained in custody. He's going to be back in court on the 20th of April for formal bail application. And the second suspect who was arrested for possession of a licensed firearm was granted 3,000 rand bail. He's going to appear back in court on the 10th of May. And I must indicate that one of the things that were raised by the magistrate was that with the one that was found with an unlicensed firearm, the question was, because the firearm serial number was filed off, how do you, or how are you sure that this particular firearm does indeed belong to Dr. Esther Mahlangu? And what we have indicated is that we will take the firearm for ballistic testing, and then we will await the results of that of those tests, and we hope that when we come back from court on that particular day, on the 10th of May, we shall have had the result, and so that we can be able to definitely be sure that the firearm does belong to Dr. Esther Mahlangu.
Yeah, Brigadier, what is always of concern, and I should think for the victims here, is that when people like this are granted bail, I appreciate that the first suspect, who is the one who allegedly committed this crime, he remains behind bars, but it's the other one who is now out, and that's the person we understand purchased the firearm, which is assumed to belong to Dr. Mahlangu. When people like this are granted bail, there's always the worry that they may go back to intimidate the victim. How sure are you, and what measures could be put in place to make sure this does not happen?
You're correct, Coley. Let me start with the first aspect. Indeed, the reason, among the other reasons why that were raised, why he should remain in custody, was that yes, he might intimidate the witnesses. But on the second one, it was clearly indicated, even by the prosecution, that they feel like he's not gonna intimidate the witnesses or cause any trouble during the investigation. And that was also assured by his attorney, who represented him, to say that he is not going to interfere or threaten the witnesses. And from our side, we're not going to let it loose. We'll ensure that we monitor him as well, to ensure that he does not in any way come closer to the investigation, or he does not in any way come closer to the witnesses or intimidate those victims that have already undergone this particular trauma that they have gone through.
The other danger here, Brigadier, is that the very suspect that is now out on bail, you somehow may need to ensure that he stays alive so that he is not taken out by some mysterious act. And the reason I'm saying this is that the police, how confident are you that this was a lone act by the suspect number one, who belongs or who is behind bars right now? How many people perpetrated this crime? Because the person that's out on bail, his crime is that of possessing an unlicensed firearm, meaning that he was the purchaser of the stolen firearm.
You are correct. If you look at this case, it's a chain of number of suspects. And some of those that are within the chain, we got the statements from them. They are our witnesses. Now, you are correct. The first person who purchased the firearm, he purchased him from another person. That particular person purchased him from another. If you look at the chain, it's a chain of about 4 people. We would definitely make sure, by all the means, to say that we frequently visit this particular suspect who's out on bail. We'll frequently, ensure that we monitor him. Over and above that, there will be other measures that I wouldn't be able to disclose here, that we're going to utilize as the police to ensure that we know his whereabouts. But over and above that, colleague, this is not a done and dusted and closed basket. Whichever information that we can get, that can in turn lead to the other suspect, we'll definitely go to those particular suspects and arrest them. Because we might find that there might be other suspects that might be linked. We'll definitely go into them, get a statement from them. But up to so far, with the chain of suspects and the victims, and the witnesses that we have, we've got a watertight case, and what we need to do is to ensure the safety of these particular suspects, so that they can come and testify during court. And over and above that, they did indicate and spoke that they've committed this particular offense. They've confessed. In another way, it's just a matter of following the formal processes, and then the prosecution continue with the rest of the trial.
Mpumalanga Police spokesperson Brigadier Selvy Mohlala, thank you very much for your time.